Here's something that will completely change how you think about retirement planning. For most investors, they build more wealth in their final 5 to 10 working years than in all their previous decade together. And it's not because of salary increases or bonuses. I'm talking about actual net worth growth. And it has got nothing to do with getting lucky in the markets. It's mostly maths and timing. Once you see these numbers, you will understand why everyone who retires wealthy follows the same pattern whether they realize it or not. Let me show you exactly what I mean with a simple question that reveals everything about compound growth. If I offered you $1 million right now, or 1 cent that doubles every day for 30 days, which one would you take? Most people would grab that $1 million immediately. But watch what actually happens with that 1 cent. On day 1, I give you 1 cent. Day 5, I give you 16 cents. Day 10, I give you $5. On day 15, I give you $164. On day 25, I give you $167,000. Day 30, $5.37 million. The exact same thing happens with your investments, just over decades instead of days. Now, here's the real market data. If you invest 100,000 and earn 6 to 8% annually, it becomes approximately 430,000 to $685,000 in 25 years. At 10% returns, it's about 1.08 million. But here's the part that will shock you. In just the final 5 years, that portfolio grows by more than it did in the previous 20 years combined. At 7% returns, your portfolio gains more wealth in years 21 to 25 than it did in the first 20 years. The compound growth curve becomes so steep at the end that those last few years generate the majority of your total wealth. Now, this is exactly why your 50s are different. You have finally reached the point where compound growth becomes visible and powerful. Here's how you know if you are entering the wealth acceleration zone. Your mortgage is either paid off or it will be gone within the next 3 years. Your kids are finishing university or already working and supporting themselves, and you have built up at least $500,000 in investments. If two or more of these describe your situation, you are entering the zone where everything changes. Now, let me show you the exact formula with a real example. If markets return around 7% annually, you need to save around 10 to 11% of your current portfolio value each year to double it in 5 years. Take Ahmed, he's 52, lives in Dubai and has 800,000 invested. To double that, he need to save around $80,000 per year. Sounds impossible, right? But here's what has just happened in his life. His mortgage ended, freeing him up to $1,200 monthly. His son graduated university, saving another $1,500 monthly on education cost. That's 32,400 per year right there. Plus, he's hitting his peak earning years. With some natural salary growth and maybe bonus income, reaching that $80,000 target becomes very realistic. His 80,000 could grow to about 1.6 million in 5 years. Three things make this possible. Your mortgage disappears, your kids become independent, and you hit your peak earning years. Ahmed's story shows exactly how this plays out in real life. Now, if you're living in the GCC, your 50s come with some unique advantages that make this wealth acceleration even more powerful. First, your income is tax free. Every dollar you save goes directly into investments. You're not losing 20 to 40% to taxes like people in other countries. Second, you have that end of service gratuity coming. The exact amount depends on your contract and how long you have worked, but it's often a substantial lump sum that can supercharge your investments. Third, most GCC currencies are pegged to the US dollar, which means your salary and your investments are naturally aligned. No currency risk to worry about. Plus, many of you have been building wealth without even realizing it. That property you bought years ago, it's likely appreciated significantly. The gratuity that's been accumulating, That's been forced savings working in your favor. All these factors combined mean that normal market returns can create very visible wealth in your situation. But here's the trap: lifestyle inflation. After 25 years of mortgage payments and education cost, when that financial pressure finally lifts, here's this massive temptation to upgrade everything: bigger car, expensive vacations, larger apartment. If Ahmed spends that freed up cash on upgrades instead of investing, he retires with the same 800,000. The opportunity cost: nearly 800,000 in lost wealth. But if he invests it strategically, he can nearly double his wealth in just 5 years. Here's what makes your 50s truly magical: everything accelerates at the same time. Your investment returns get larger because your portfolio is bigger. A 10% returns on 1.5 million is 150,000. That's more than many people save in an entire year. Your ability to save peaks because your major expenses disappear. Your earning power hits its maximum because of your experience and seniority. Your investment knowledge is at its peak because you have learned from decades of market cycles. All these factors work together, creating the wealth acceleration zone. For the actual investing part, keep it simple by choosing two funds or maybe three. You really need only two or three core building blocks to create a powerful world class portfolio. First, you want a piece of the global economy's growth. The best way to do this is with a single fund that owns small pieces of thousands of companies from all over the world. This gives you broad diversification without having to pick and choose individual stocks. Second, you want something for stability. This is a fund that holds high quality global bonds, which are essentially loans to stable governments and large corporations. Think of this part as the anchor of your portfolio. It provides a cushion when the stock market gets bumpy. That's it: a global stock fund for growth and a global bond fund for safety. By owning just these two, you are more diversified than most professional investors. The key is to find versions of these funds that have been very low fees, so more of your money stays working for you. If you're in your 50s watching this, you're not behind, you're perfectly positioned. The people who retire comfortably aren't the ones who saved the most in their 20s and 30s. They are the ones who recognized that their 50s were their wealth building golden years and took action. Those mortgage payments and education expenses weren't just cost, they were training. You have already proven you can live without that money. Now redirect that same discipline towards your own financial freedom and live the rest of your life enjoying with what you love to do.